Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Human Training for Dogs, the podcast that's not really about training dogs at all. It's about training you. Because when you change your energy, your mindset, your habits, your dog changes too. I'm Leon, I'm the founder of Back to Basics Dog Training, and today's episode is personal. Today I want to step out from behind the leash for a moment and talk about me. Welcome to episode 6 of Human Training for Dogs, how my dog training philosophies changed my life. Most people know me as a dog trainer, but the truth is, everything I teach, the 3 N's and the 4 C's, have transformed my life as much as it helped hundreds of dogs and their families. So let's start with the 3 N's of dog training, my signature formula. No anger, no frustration, no nonsense. Guys, reality. When I first came up with that phrase, saying, whatever it is, it was about trying to come up with a catchy thing to grab people's attention to drive business to Back to Basics dog training. But over time, I kind of realized it became more than just a catchy phrase. It became a way of life for me. I started implementing the no anger, no frustration, no nonsense into my everyday life. And one of the things I noticed is my life started transforming. And what I'm trying to get out of this podcast is I want you to join me on my journey so I can help guide you on your journey. So let's hit each one of those catchphrases, the terms that I use. No anger. I stopped letting things get under my skin. If a dog didn't respond, I used to take it personal. I used to get angry sometimes. And I realized it's not personal. When my customers didn't follow up and do what, we kind of agreed they were going to do with their dogs, I got angry at them. I realized anger was consuming me. If somebody said something to me, did something to me, whatever, anger would take over. And I realized very quickly, well, I wish I could say very quickly, but it really wasn't, that anger was really doing exactly what I said, consuming me. I was living in a constant state of being angry. And I had to stop and take a step back and rationalize. Why am I angry? Why am I letting that dog not respond to me? My customers not following through with their dogs the way I know if they did, they would succeed. Why, when my family did X, Y, and Z, did I take it that it was personal? So I had to take a step back and I realized I got to stop taking things personal. If life threw me a curveball, I had to stop, breathe, and respond, not react. When you do things out of anger, you're reacting. You're not responding. You may think you are because you're using words, but you're not really responding. You're reacting to your emotional state. No frustration. This is a big one for me because I get frustrated. Like I said, I would get frustrated if somebody didn't listen to me when it came to the dogs. I got frustrated with my family if they didn't listen to my advice or take my advice. I got frustrated. And I related to my customers how frustration works. Frustration is like trying to do a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. You got that one piece. You're trying to figure out where it goes. And you're sitting there and you're trying and you can't figure it out. And the longer you try to figure it out, the harder it is to find where that thing goes. Finally, after 15 minutes, a half hour, whatever it may be, you throw that piece on the table and say, I need to walk away, because eventually we rationalize with ourselves. And you walk away, you come back an hour later, the next day, whatever it may be, you pick up that same piece and go, oh, it goes here. That's how frustration clouds our brain. Because once we get frustrated, we cannot move forward. And part of going on this journey is about moving forward. So instead of getting annoyed when things didn't go my way, I started to ask myself, what can I do differently? Can I rephrase something differently? Can I use my body language differently? Is my energy in the right spot? Maybe I need to change my energy to convey what I'm trying to get across differently. So it's a cycle, guys. We go through it. It's understanding it, seeing the anger, seeing the frustration, and saying, "Whoa, let's take a step back. How can I handle this differently?" And the no nonsense. I mean, I say when it comes to the dogs, it's kind of how I grew up. No nonsense. No means no. Why? You know, I grew up in a world where my parents were very active in what we did. If we made mistakes, there was consequences for those mistakes. And the word no in my house was a real word. It was a bad word because I was that kid that my parents would say no. I would say, but why? And I got two answers why my folks would say no. One is because they said so. And the other ones, I'll give you 5 reasons why. Nobody ever wanted those, so we just accepted the no as a no. You know, but part of that no nonsense is getting back to no anger, no frustration, is I had to get real with myself. And what that means is I cut out the excuses. Why this happened? Why did this happen? Why didn't somebody listen? I stopped overthinking it. I mean, guys, overthinking, oh my Lord, that gets us in so much trouble. And I got rid of the emotional baggage. It's not personal. It's business, it's life, it is what it is. And what I realized very simply when I started putting these philosophies together, and not for dog training, for me, for my family, for my friends, for people I was associated with, my life became simpler, clearer, and more peaceful. Then I added the 4 C's to that foundation, the no anger, no frustration, no nonsense. What are the 4 C's? They're calm, confidence, consistency equals control. So I had to look at my life. How did my day start? Well, like most small business owners, I get up in the morning, sometimes way too early because my mind is focused on my business and I'm trying to grow my business and I'm trying to do this. And why am I trying to grow my business? Because I'm trying to support my family and help my family and do all these things. And what I was noticing, because I was anything but calm, I was losing sleep, my health was suffering. So I needed to change. I needed to look internally and change. And it started each day, every day. I started each day calmer. I didn't pick up my phone and look at emails, look at Facebook, look at whatever I needed to do to run my business. No, I slowed it down. I started each day, no phone calls, no rushing to see, did I get a message? Did I get an email? Did I get this? Did I get that? No, I just took a deep breath every morning, got up, took care of myself, washed up a little bit, brushed my teeth, maybe take a shower, whatever it may be. Definitely needed my cup of coffee in the morning. But I started off the day with at least, and I still do this to this day, 10 to 15 minutes for me. Nothing about the outside world. And that started me on a real great journey, a real great path to this transformation that I needed to be more successful as a dog trainer, to be more successful as a father, to be more successful as a friend. And now, once I was able to slow everything down, I was able to make decisions from a place of confidence. Because when my mind was clouded with, what email am I getting? Why aren't I getting emails? Why aren't I getting messages? I started doing what everybody does. I had self-doubt. My confidence was lacking. And it goes back to the same thing I said earlier. I had to ask myself, why didn't I get any emails? What could I do differently to get those emails or those messages or the phone calls or whatever it may be? Because I realized and I know who I am and what I offer to you. And that was a realization. I thought I was selling me, Leon, a dog trainer. And it took me a while to realize I wasn't selling dog training. I was offering and selling myself. And that changed so much in my own mind that it almost brought tears to my eyes. So I made a conscious decision to be more confident. So when I talk to the customer that did call me or message me or email me, I'm selling me. I'm not selling back to basics dog training. If you understand, there's a huge difference between the two of them. And I stick to a rhythm, that consistency, my daily morning routines, the boundaries I set for myself. Self-discipline, that's consistency. And when we tie this all together, that journey just becomes smoother. When this journey started, it was like driving on Long Island or any place after a harsh winter and there's potholes all over the place. Man, it's bumpy ride. It's a bumpy ride. We all know this. Anything in our lives, it's a bumpy ride. And then what I started to notice as I started putting into effect these things that I taught my customers but never really applied to me because it was back to basics, it's not Leon, I came up and I started realizing as I started applying these no anger, no frustration, no nonsense, the 4 C's, the calm, confidence, consistency to get control, and not control of anything else but me. They started repaving that road. And it became smoother and smoother and smoother. Guys, it was an eye-opener for me. By using those 3 N's and the 4 C's doesn't eliminate pains and difficulties. I'm going to tell you that now. It doesn't eliminate them. Instead, it helps me create a safe and stable environment through the storms, because I'm able to actually slow it down. So when I'm going through those stormy times, and the next future episodes, you're going to hear about some stormy times again, not anything to do with back to basics directly, more about me and my family, because I was putting those things into effect. I was sailing through the storm and it was calm seas. So if what I've gained is real control, and I have gained control. Not 100% control, because I don't think that's possible, but not control over others. I can't change others. They have to be willing to do it. It's like forcing a smoker to quit smoking, or forcing somebody, God forbid, alcohol or drug addictions into rehab. If they don't make that choice, I can't make it happen. They have to be willing to do it. So when I do these practices and I work with my customers and I work with my friends and family and business networking associates that I've gained over the years, I can't force them to live my lifestyle, the lifestyle I chose to live. They have to make that decision. And what I'm hoping for is by leadership, by example, and they see the results I get when I speak about their dogs. I get results. When I talk about how I dealt with some personal issues, maybe it resonates, and they choose, and you choose, to follow along that path. So when I say I gain control, it's not over others. It has nothing to do, but it was over myself. It was over my choices, over my reactions. How do I react to a situation? Do I allow the anger to make me react to that situation? Do I allow frustration to make? No. I literally slow it down. Over the energy I bring, So when I control my choices, my reactions, my energy, it's over everything. It's over the energy I bring into every room, every house, every training session I go into. One of the things I tell my customers all the time, and I don't remember if I said it in the earlier episodes of the podcast, is I chose, when I go to your home, if my appointment's at 12 o'clock in the afternoon with you, I'm going to try to be in your neighborhood. And when I say try, I usually do it by 11:30. Park down the street and I just relax. I take half hour, whatever it is, half hour, 15 minutes for Leon time. I clear my head, Somebody cut me off. It doesn't bother me now because now I'm getting to your home with that calm confidence that I live my life by. So it's okay to slow things down. And in order to slow things down, you have to, in my opinion, incorporate my 3 N's, the 4 C's, because it makes us think clearer. It gives us that clarity. This lifestyle didn't just make me a better dog trainer. It made me a better man, a better husband, a better father, a better brother, a better friend. But more importantly, it made me a better leader. So the most powerful part about all of what I just spoke to is I know you can live it too. You don't need a leash in your hand to apply these principles. This is about you. But what I do know is when you combine those 3 N's, the 4 C's, into your everyday life, your dogs will notice a change. The people around you will notice a change. These principles work. They work with your kids, your spouse, your job, your morning, your mindset, your life. So remember, guys, no anger, no frustration, no nonsense. Calm, confidence, consistency equals control. It's not just about the dogs. It's about you. It's about your family. It's about your life. It's about your jobs. It's about your coworkers. So if this episode hit home, and I truly, from the bottom of my heart, hope it does, and I hope it helps at least one person. If you know somebody else that you think the chaos is running their lives, then please share this. This next few episodes I'm going to be going into are real. It's real, guys. It changed my life, and I'm sure it can change yours and others. This is deeply personal. The next few episodes are going to be very personal. It's how, by observing dogs and how they live and how they choose to live their life and how Mother Nature set it up, this philosophy, this methodology helped me and my family get through some very dark times. And, it's one of the things I tell people all the time. I am not the most educated person in the world, but I do look at the world and I observe and I see where we can do better, where I can do better, because I can't change the world. All I have the ability to do is change my own. But what I'm hoping is when you hear what I have to say, or see what I have to say in the next couple of episodes, I can help you change your life. So if you or somebody you know, somebody you love, can benefit from some of this knowledge that I have, this philosophy that I use, my everyday life, give me a call, shoot me a text. Let's schedule our free 15-minute consultation. And it could be about the dogs, it could be about life, it could be about anything. I don't care. So reach out to me, 803-415-6970, and let's start this journey. So next week's episode, like I told you a couple minutes ago, I'm going to tell you how using these methods, the 3 N's of dog training and the 4C, help my daughter, help my family get through some very, very, very dark times. So please, if you know anybody who's suffering or have a loved one that's suffering, implore them to tune in next Monday at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we can start this transformation together. So until next week, guys, no anger, no frustration, no nonsense. Calm, confidence, consistency equals control. And remember, together, we can help one dog and one family at a time. Until next week.